Alright, so just want to go over today's notes. So today we learned about graphing systems of inequalities, where the solution is always where the lines overlap. So if we would graph this line, it would shade this left side or the bottom part of the line. If we would graph this line, it would shade the top part of the line, and where they would overlap, this area right here, that is where our solutions are at for a system. So it means two equations and an inequality, you're going to shade above, below, have a solid line or a dashed line. Well, when they ask you if these are solutions, all we have to do is plot the points. The first one, 0, 0, and if it's in the shaded area, then it is a solution. -1, 4. So anything in the shaded area is a solution. 2, 5 is not a solution. And then 0.5, -1 would be right next to that point, so it is barely not a solution. And then 3, 2 is on the line where they intersect, on the point where they intersect, and that is a solution if either one of the lines is shaded, solid. Okay, if both lines are dashed, then this would not be a solution. Alright, so in today's assignment, I let a lot of you guys use a calculator, but I know that some of us do not have calculators at home, so I'm going to show you how to do it by hand. Let's start with number 9 because it's already in slope-intercept format, where the y-intercept is 3 on the first one, so we go to the y-axis, plot a 3, and the slope is +2, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Go down 2 over 1 to extend our line. Okay. Now this next part is a review on inequalities. If we have the less than sign, then we're going to shade below the line, and then it doesn't have the equal to, so it has to be a dashed line. So I'm going to put some dashes here and here. Then I'm going to put arrows down because the less than side of the line would be the bottom part. I do not want you to shade till the very end. Next line, y-intercept is +1, our slope is -1x, or just -1, so we go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. Go to the left only to extend the line. And it is the same inequality sign, so we're going to make a dashed line and shade below. So put dashes and put arrows pointing down below the line. Okay, so where the arrows overlap, see how they're both pointing down, that is where we're going to shade. So dashed lines, and then we're shading below. Leave a little space so I can see that they were dashed lines. Alright, now on this left one, on number 8, the first one, you see it's just y and a number. It's going to be a horizontal line. Okay, it's going to cross at the -3 on the y, so go to the y-axis, at the -3 down here. It is also the less than sign, so we're going to have a dashed line. So go ahead and draw a horizontal dashed line going through here. And less than is going to shade below, right? Just like the last one. So put arrows pointing down. Alright, second line. Second line, I cannot graph it like this unless I use my calculator. So I'm going to have to solve for y, so it's in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to do it right here. X minus y is greater than 1. Get rid of the 1x. Remember, there's a 1 in front of the x by subtracting a 1x. If I do it on one side, I have to subtract a 1x on the other. Now, I cannot subtract 1x from 1, so we just put it next to it. Why? Because the first one doesn't have an x. Now I cannot have a negative y, so we're going to divide by a -1 everything. And when we divide by a negative, that flips the inequality sign to the other side. So 1 divided by 1 is -1, negative divided by negative is +1. Now I can graph this by hand. My y-intercept is -1. My slope is a +1, so up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Okay, this is the less than sign, so again it's going to be a dashed line, and we're shading below. So put arrows pointing down below the line. Now we only shade where they overlap, so that's going to be down here. They were both dashed lines, so I'm just going to trace it so I can see it a little bit better with my highlighter. And then we shade below, only where they overlap. That's where our solutions will be. Okay, let's do 6 and 7. So now this is a vertical line at x equals 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the x-axis, vertical line, and then this is going to be dashed because it is the greater than, not the greater than or equal to, so dashed line. And we're going to shade to the right, not above, because a vertical line does not have above or below. Since it is a vertical line, we only have left or right, and all the numbers greater than 5 are going to be on the right side. So put arrows towards the right. Then y less than or equal to 4 is going to be a horizontal line crossing the y-axis at +4. And because it is also equal to, now it's going to be a solid line. So make a solid line that goes to that point. It is the less than, so we're going to shade below. So put arrows pointing down. Where the arrows overlap, that is where our solutions are. So highlight my dashed line and solid line right here, and this is where our arrows will overlap, where it's below this line and to the right of this line. Last example, we have another horizontal line crossing the y at 0, which is here, and it's going to be dashed because it is the less than sign, and we're going to shade below. So a dashed horizontal line, gonna kind of make the dashes thick and put arrows pointing down. Now x greater than 0 is going to be a vertical line, and then we're going to make a solid line because it has the equal to. No matter if it's greater than or less than, as long as it has the equal to, it's always going to be a solid line. And the greater than means we're going to shade to the right. If it was just a regular horizontal or equals, it would be shading above, but vertical line is going to go right through the 0 here, and greater than is to the right. If it was less than, it would be to the left. And I only want you to shade on the right side of this line and below this one. Okay, so that's how we do it by hand. Go ahead and make sure you change the equation for the last one on the bottom right. The equation is y is less than 4x plus 13. Change that 13 to 4x plus 10. That way we can actually graph it in our homework, because there's not enough room if we go by 13. Okay? Alright, homework was page 138 from our workbook.